Satish Jha. One of the things that I must tell you is I am a fan of Smalltalk programming language. I don't know how many of you know this Smalltalk. And I'm excited today, sitting here with Mr. Jha, who is the chairman of One Laptop for Child India Foundation, and he drives that entire initiative of OLPC in India and elsewhere. So, let me give you a brief background about the OLPC, very, very brief. We have about 20 minutes for our session, and we have a hard stop anyway at I think 4:50, whichever occurs first. So, it was Alan Kay, around 1960, during his PhD days, he came up with the Dynabook model, which is today's iPad that you see, or so to speak, right? And you had Negros Negroponte, Professor Negros Negroponte, who became famous, probably in India. I read him in 1996, through his digital divide. Being digital, where he talked about the flip-flop theory. Whichever is, wired will go wireless, whichever is wireless will go wired. So these two guys came together with a dream, and they said, let us give the world, the underprivileged part of the world, or so to speak, a tool so that they, bring, plug the gap that is, ever increasing out there, the digital divide. So that was OLPC. Jha has a model of OLPC. I will try to get him to demo parts of it. And let us start with this. Satish, what do you think? What do you think OLPC is important in any market?
Well, important is wherever there are children who have not had an opportunity to educate themselves, or where schooling hasn't led to the goals that most governments have, that is of creating citizens who can achieve the capabilities that they are innately born with. That's where the opportunity is for OLPC to be there, because it can do so with as little as they can afford, regardless of what infrastructure constraints they have. No electricity, no internet, no school, no teacher, no bookstore, nothing. And you can learn as well as humankind can learn today if you're interested in that.
So, why do you think, I think I'm okay, I'm audible, right? Yeah. So, people need to hear you more. Why do you think just giving a laptop to a child will change the entire demographic of that?
Because it is not just a laptop. Laptop may be a name, but I call it three things. I call it the cell phone of education, for one, because it is as simple as that. I call it, in some ways, nano of education, because it's as small and packs everything, or school in a box. I also look at it as Shantiniketan of education, which means education no matter where you are, outside or wherever. But it basically does everything. You looked at what is coming in the way of education and learning, and look at every question, not just technology, but also what is learning after all. And you create curiosity in the mind of a child who's 4 years old, 5 years old, and let the child go and explore the world. So in other words, it is not about, again you can call it flip-flop. Earlier on, teacher used to teach the children. Now children begin learning and they teach the teacher. So maybe he was right about flip-flop.
Yeah.
It's another one.
Wonderful. We will come to specific, but I would like to, ask you a basic question. You see, I am back to now a technology which predates Gutenberg. Because my iPad is just not connecting back. There is a problem with the Wi-Fi. There is a problem with 3G. So, an OLPC, Satish, we are talking about high technology in a ruggedized countryside. How does it cope? If there is no connectivity, how can students even connect?
The basic idea was this, that villages cannot use computers even if you give them $1 billion suddenly, because there is no electricity, there is no internet, there is no school building, there are no teachers, there are no books or whatever. It is designed to address all those issues. For instance, it's a machine that takes 1 watt of power. In a desktop, you spend 15,000 rupees of power in 5 years. OLPC takes only 100 rupees of power. But it takes less than 2 watts, so mankind, any man, any child can actually hand crank it. If you don't want to do that, you're too lazy to do that, you don't enjoy that, put a car to do the job. If you don't have a car, you can put a bicycle to do the job. If you don't have that, put a solar charger. Do you imagine it? You do it. It's designed as something which you couldn't imagine. And it takes everything to the friendliest imagination and delivers it in a little box. That's one. Second, it is a hotspot. No machine in the world is a hotspot till you come to think of it. It becomes a hotspot when you get a service. It's a hotspot without a service. In other words, two machines 300 feet apart can talk to each other, and you can go on expanding that distance as long as you can go connecting 300 feet. From there, in Haiti, for instance, when nothing worked, towers had fallen, telecom towers had fallen, cell phones didn't work, they communicate using OLPC. Thirdly, it has a screen, for instance. Screens don't give you a good view under the sun. The only screen on the planet which allows you to see under the sun, under the bright midday sun. You can see as clearly as you see inside. There is no machine, no screen which is as capable as this. This Pixel key designed only for this. It's also something which gives to Amazon, for instance, for Kindle. But this one is a special. It's not just monochrome, it's also color. It's color inside, monochrome outside. Of course, it's rugged. You can drop it for 5-6 feet accidentally on a stone surface, it's just fine. You can run with it in a torrential rain of 4-5 inches an hour, for an hour or two, it's just fine. You can put it in through dust, it's just fine. It's just designed to help a child be fearless in using the machine. So parents don't say, don't touch it, don't break it. Idea is constructivist. Let a child create a world, break it, make it, remake it, reconstruct it. That's how a child will begin to learn with it. Don't constrain a child.
And what you have just said is so amazing. If tomorrow morning I get up and do a wish list of what all I want to have in my laptop, it's there, it's all there. Why can't I buy it out of the market? What's your model?
Well, very simple. If you can afford to buy the market, please go in the market and you'll pay $4,000 basically creating all these offers. But it's not meant for you if you can afford it. It's meant for those who have to become the future citizens of the world, who have no hope in hell, whom our system didn't offer. For 96% Indians who have no education worth talking about. It's meant for those who can't afford anything. But those who can afford, they can start owning it by buying 1,000 and keeping 1 or 5 or 10 and giving rest to something else, someone else. So please do it that.
Can you just show us whatever you're doing? So what are these?
Well, these are antennas. These are also, they block you, making dust proof, and they can also become lock. So this is one. It's a laptop, now it's a tablet. And if you see it this way, you can read on this. It's also a lantern, by the way. At night, it gives enough power, more power than any village hut has seen in its lifetime. That much power for 6 hours. By the way, this machine, I forgot my charger unconsciously. I didn't plan it. I started the machine 9 o'clock yesterday. I was showing it until 3:30 p.m. before I got the flight. When I came here, somebody came to see me at night who took 1 hour of charge. This morning when I came to Gardenia from 11, it's been almost on until I entered the room. Effectively, it's been on for about 11 hours and I haven't charged it. And I can't charge because I don't use the charger. And I think it still has about an hour, maybe 2-3 hours charge left. So that's the level of charge. No machine in the world that I know. I have used it up to 22 hours. We only said 3 hours, by the way. But it has gone on with me for 22 hours at a stretch and for about 7-8 days, if you see from the point of view of how long the charge remains. And I don't think any machine, including my MacBook Air, does that. Now you see the applications here. These are all applications. Each of them, any of them could cost you 8,000 to 10,000 rupees in the open market if you really buy them. There are 35 of them. We give 100 books free to every child. In fact, even the man who is the biggest hindrance to this, who's called Minister of HRD in India, his own voice said it costs $4,000 to make OLPC in India. So I said, isn't 230 cheaper? But not for them. I said, anything else is too expensive, $0. Still they don't get it. Well, please, let your leaders be chosen with, about future in mind. Thank you.
No, that's great. We have homegrown, technologies, for example, Akash. Now, I know OLPC has so much, so many things. Now, why should I, as a chief minister, I hope to, approve of buying or sponsoring OLPCs to all the schools?
I think anyone who even imagines that they could make something called Akash, there is zero Indian about Akash. It's a straight bought from Taiwan. SKD or CK they brought here, stamped made in India. It's a trash that we don't want to use. If you have not tried it, please try it. I'll say every Indian should try it. Before every member of parliament should try it. We should ban any MP from using anything except Akash. If they don't use Akash, please don't give it to Indians at all. Because children deserve a lot more than you, Mr. MPs. Number one. It is a piece of trash. You can take it from me. It doesn't work. Nobody has tried. IIT Jodhpur, Prem Kalra, the man who was behind it, he said, I don't want this Akash. He rejected every single piece of it. What more proof do you want? Till date, Economic Times, 5 days back, they reported not more than 500 have been delivered, even though claims have been 10,000, million, whatever, they're all hyper statements which somebody should be accountable for. If there was a penalty for speaking lies, you will have to challenge it. I don't want to go to Akash. Akash is nothing Indian. It has no technology. It's bought in Taiwan or Shanghai, wherever. This is the figment of imagination of an IAS officer who studied in some IIT 35 years ago, hasn't picked up a book on technology till date, and who has been ruining India's future for the last 6 years. What punishment he should be given? Sorry about that.
You know where it is coming from? He was an editor with Indian Express and Times of India.
By the way, someone told me if I was not an editor, we don't know what this government will do to me. So I said, well...
Nice to have you on our side. You talked about, if I have to buy it off the market, it would cost $4,000. What does OLPC actually cost?
It costs today, if you make 10,000 pieces in one particular order or rather chain assembly, it costs $230 as I speak to you. If you go to 100,000, it becomes about close to 7-8% less. If you go to a million, about 12-13% less. We haven't managed to make it for less than $188 in the best of times for the largest orders so far. And if we say that, it is a zero profit. And I can tell you one thing. Once they asked me for some pieces, $229 was the price, and actually their price came down to some $226. They returned $3. In other words, no businessman returned $3 after taking the money they did return. So we believe in giving it to people at zero profits. That's the basic rule. And here, whatever I have done, if I have taken losses in many of the orders, because, other day I took at 47 rupees, now it's 52 rupees, I lost 5 rupees on 1,000 pieces, so $5,000 lost straight away, and I had to take that loss. And that's how we all work in. Nobody makes a penny out of it.
So what's your basic model out here? Why doesn't OLPC Foundation bring this out into the market just like Dell or Intel would do?
There are 3 principles. If a child has to be as young as possible, if one has it, all have it, and they should own it. The challenge is, if you give it to market, in no school, all children will have it. So if you buy individually, it becomes an individual thing. Then you'll again be subject to market logic, which doesn't really help a society. If some child is going to feel deprived. So if one child has in school, please let everyone have it. Just like they have their shirts or what you call shoes.
See, we talked earlier about Uruguay turning to OLPC completely.
True.
Now, when do you think either Karnataka or Haryana or any of our states will do it?
I'll give you an example. Uruguay picked up 450,000 because the president was a doctor, he was an oncologist. When he went back from Davos to Uruguay, he called his cabinet meeting and said, I have brought a vaccine. So what is that? Which one? H1N1? He said, no, I've got vaccine against ignorance. What is that? This is the machine. It's vaccine against 20 years. I want every individual, every citizen of Uruguay to be as good as he or she wants to be in the world, so they can stand the challenges of the world as best as they want. That was the goal of President of Uruguay. Starting in February 2008, November 2009, every single child was saturated. In March, 6th March 2012, state of Sonora, Sonora, that state Mexico, they decided 350,000 children, they would all have it. On 22nd February, Jacob Zuma, South Africa, he decided every child in South Africa will have this. In other words, we need leadership. Unfortunately, we haven't had since Gandhi died. So we have to look for leaders who think India, believe India, who understand our constitutional obligation to every single child. The first thing India needs is respect for a child. Unfortunately, we don't respect anyone except those who are power.
So, I heard that, meanwhile, just get ready. If you have questions, please. We will have about time for about 4 questions, probably. I'll ask one question before I come to you, sir. I heard that Rajasthan has just, taken a step towards, adopting OLPC. Can you?
True. On 17th of March, I went to Trivandrum, 2009. 18th of March, actually, I submitted proposal as 2:52 p.m. 18th of March. On 19th of March, 3:26 p.m., Kerala government gave an order for 150,000 children. They said we will pay our share 20%, that the central government pay 80%. Central government hasn't paid it yet. I sent the same proposal to Manipur on 22nd March 2009. 26th March, Ibobi Singh called to say, I want it now and I'm sending the order right away. 26th March, the order was 70,000. It took them some time to pay for 1,000 children, which they paid. And he is the only one, by the way, who won the elections by saying, I changed Manipur with OLPC.
So how are we doing on time, Sri? Wonderful. So,
and by the way, Rajasthan, yesterday in the budget, I met Gehlot on 9th of February. I spent 2 hours with him. I said, आप मुख्यमंत्री हो, इतना तो कर सकते हो, कम से कम मुख्यमंत्री के प्रोग्राम 300 बनाए आपने, 301 बनाइए, 1 लाख बच्चों को दीजिए. कहीं 10 लाख को तो कितना दाम लगेगा? मैंने कहा 10 लाख के 10% हो और कम हो जाएंगे, जो इकोनॉमी स्केल होती है हो जाएंगे, लेकिन आप तय तो करो. कहते I love this, but how do I procure it from you? I said, you are the chief minister, ask the cabinet, vote for it, it's yours. Yesterday he announced for 24,000 children in Rajasthan, in the budget. Rajasthan will be the first state announcing through the budget this time. He had to call and give it a new name, a special learning laptop, so that no cheapskate comes and says, I'm also a laptop.
Wonderful. One question from that gentleman.
First of all, it's a pleasure for me to see you again, Satish.
Thank you so much.
I think your passion and your vision in taking this OLPC is phenomenal. I wanted to share just one thought with you. Your point earlier about risk aversion, or rather whatever you want to call it. Risk aversion is so inbuilt into the government structure here. Enough pilots that actually make sure that the programs succeed are demanded, and you probably want pilots across India. Only then perhaps you could have a national policy on this. This is my opinion on this. And second is, a question that often comes about, whether it's this device or any electronic device in India, is there a service framework? Is there a service network? If something goes wrong somewhere, what do I do with it? And this is a question that's often in the back. Some say it, some ask for it, some don't. So that's something we probably should have a solution to.
Yeah, the question really is
yes. 2 things. Last year, Vara Ravi invited me to give a keynote on Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. His idea was the message reached to Pravasi Bharatis. I said there are more than 600,000 families of Indian audience overseas, actually 27 million. If each of them adopted their own village, we won't need any more pilots because they will cover the whole world. It will only take $10,000 per village, because in a village, family school, you don't have more than 30-35 children. It's about that much max. If Indian diaspora chose to do that, Indian state will be as meaningless as it was in creating information technology revolution in India. We won't need 600,000 pilots, India is covered. That's one. Second, when it comes to, we have tied up just now with Trimax, there are many companies willing to support. If there are 10,000 concentrated in one area, we create that framework for servicing. We want to guarantee 99% availability to every child, anytime. And we have a company which has been doing it for government, Trimax. They have tied up with us, they are supporting us. But outside of that, if there is a concentration of 10,000, you need 25 kilometer radius, we take care of that.
So wonderful. Yeah.
So, aside from the government, there are a number of foundations which work with the rural schools and so on. What has been your experience there?
I think if you are being generous to them, then I will say that they have 2 challenges. One, their thinking is very, very underprivileged. They don't look at underprivileged children at all from that point of view. They look at them as, can I throw a roti, some crumbs, can I put an ointment? They are not looking at what is the problem. They want to do something which gives them bang for the buck. So I will put $1, but you should think I gave $1,000. That's the full foundation side. So that's the generous approach. And less than generous approach, they're just plain simple ignorant. Second, I've gone to everyone who is there. Somebody says, I want to teach the teachers. I said, do you understand pedagogy? They don't understand technology, they don't understand pedagogy. They are good people, they mean well, but they have challenges of learning about tomorrow. That's what I found in all foundations. I went to a number of industries I've known, they can't go beyond the fact, they can't imagine that they say, why can't it not be $10? Because somebody said $10, they start looking for $10. They don't have children's interest in mind, they don't see value. If only they ask the basic question, what is it that India's children need to become as good as they are? And then how will it make them go to that point? Then this is as cheap as it gets, 10 rupees. We spent 7 rupees on midday meal scheme, which is a big scam. 10 rupees extra and a child has the possibility to become as good as a child in Brooklyn High. Why would you do that? India spends 800 rupees per child per month to keep them ignorant, not even make them good enough domestic help. When they come to your homes after 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 grade, you still have to educate them how to talk and how to accept them in your household. That's the quality of education India offers to 96% Indians. It's only those who spend 5, 10, 15, 20,000 rupees a month who get any quality education. So the challenge is thinking. Challenge is we have a serious thinking deficit, be it in foundations, and foundations are not designed for being foundations. My good friend Sri Mental, he wrote to me, 300,000 children will be on OLPC. He wrote to me on 16th of July 2008. Then he appoints a chief executive officer who thinks of breakages. He said, sir, we must first create schools. I said, meant for those who have no schools. We must first create teachers, meant for those who have no teachers. He cannot understand that. How do you handle that? I go back to Sunil, I said, what the hell is happening? He said, look, now we are a corporation, we appointed somebody, you want to de-appoint him? I said, up to you, I won't come in the way. Every single foundation has gone the same route. They don't understand what they're doing, except giving their masters a name that they have foundation. That's the only purpose they serve.
Wonderful. I mean, it's a passionate product out there and a passionate principle. You might have a lot more questions. Satish will be around. He will circulate around, and you can ask him questions. I think we are, just about time to stop. Satish, it's been great speaking to you. We can go on and on, but we should catch up on our side. Thanks a lot, audience, for
Thank you very much. And please, if I said something wrong, forgive me. Think of the children, what they can do. I am the same child I want to help. Thank you.